We are living through historic times in silver and gold, precious metals, and precious metal mining stocks. We're going to go through many reasons, many examples why we can remain excited. It is so hard to stay on top of everything that is going on right now. These are historic times. Thank you for joining me for these historic times. It's a big deal when you join me down here in the basement. I want you to feel like you found a little home away from home. You're always welcome down here in the basement. There are a lot of great people in this community, in the silver and gold community. Please subscribe to the channel. We're almost to 62,000 subscribers. These live streams are being watched by 50,000 plus people. That's a good thing, guys, because that is bringing more people into the precious metals family. And as it grows and grows and more people come in, that will help the price go higher and higher. But most importantly, thank you for being here. You're important. Leave a comment, super chat, super thanks. Always super appreciated, never super expected. Let's dig in because we got a ton, and I mean a ton of things going on, big things that we need to cover together. Let's start by doing a quick review. Our friend the dude gave us yesterday's paper market numbers. I wonder how many ounces of silver traded in the Fantasy Island. Deplane. Remember that TV show from the 1980s, right? Everything was fantasy, and that's what it is at the COMEX, where yesterday alone they traded 977 million ounces of paper silver. Let's make sure I'm correct on the date. Yep, Friday, October 17th. Guys, that is more silver traded in one day on the COMEX than the entire silver mining industry produces in one full year. But what about manipulation? Do you think the price of silver is manipulated at the COMEX? We know, right? Federal courts convicted some JP Morgan traders a few years back. But what about this? This really struck out. King Kong 9888 is super respected in the precious metals community. And here's a post he made. Tim, here's an honest man. Anyone who has an IQ over 100 probably realizes that I don't work in a vacuum. We are sick and tired of the lies and obfuscation. I say what my supporters can't say. I do what my supporters can't do. I'm happy to spread the truth. And this was a message, a tweet from Tim Arundel. He said, I traded on the floor of the CME for 10 years and on the screen for an additional 10. Had a good run, but left specifically because of the manipulations of the markets by the CME. And then Eric goes on to say, many industry insiders like you are sick of the BS. Yeah, guys, the paper price of silver is under a ton of stress, but it's been manipulated for years and years. It's made the price of silver, and some people argue gold as well to a certain extent, like a beach ball being held underwater. I almost forgot my clickbait thumbnail for this video live stream. And thank you guys for joining me live. $1,600 silver. When that beach ball comes up out of the water, are we going to see $1,600 silver? And how could we come to such a number, true or false? Let's go take a look at that right now. We will go to a post from Silver Degen. Okay, adjusted for inflation, the 1980. Am I sharing the right screen? Yes. Okay. Adjusted for inflation, the 1980 $50 silver all-time high is actually closer to $1,600. You don't believe anything else the government says, but you believe their CPI. So what he's saying here is that according to official government inflation data, the CPI, the 1980 $50 high is closer to $200. But if you use shadow stats, if you use the real numbers, and he's pointing that out, you don't believe anything else the government says. So why do you believe the CPI, which says that it should be 200 today? If you use the shadow stats number, we come closer to 1,600. And darn it, I had the comment down here. Somebody asked Grok about that, who's the X artificial intelligence service. And Grok basically came back and said, yes, that's true. If you use the shadow stats numbers, you get a number closer to $1,600. I know it sounds absurd, right? Hey, as I was stressing out, preparing for this live stream, I was looking at what the S&P 500 is right now. That's going to become very important later on. It's at what, 6,600? I remember sitting down here in 2008 during the financial crisis and seeing the S&P 500 go across the screen at 666. The S&P 500 has gone up 10x in that time. So to think that we can't have incredibly high silver prices is not out of the question. But let's go over to China and check on the price of silver in China right now. Excuse me, guys. Been doing so many live streams to keep up with everything. My voice instrument is failing me. This comes from the Oriental Ghost. This is the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the Shanghai Futures Exchange from China. He provides this data every single day. This is the physical price of silver in China. This has gotten at times way above, sometimes 10, 15% higher, but I'm circling it in red, $53.33. We'll check on the spot price in the United States. So that is right now the physical, we can almost call that spot price of silver. You can see right here, AG, that's the periodic table symbol for silver. And that's the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the Shanghai Futures Exchange. And at this point, and this is the SGE, I'll underline that there on the right, $53. Now, there's an important reason why we're keeping an eye on this. Let's go 53.33. Let's go out to KITCO and see, okay, the spot price of silver right now is $52. So still the spot price of silver in China is higher, but it's getting closer and closer. The reason that's important, and we know that on the futures exchange, right, the COMEX and the LBMA, the price of silver is closer to $50 per ounce. That's in backwardation. But the reason why the spot price now in the West getting close to the Chinese spot price, that is showing us that the Chinese markets, the Eastern markets, are taking over. And there is a mania for gold and silver right now in those markets. We're going to look at that in a little bit. But first, more incredible data. Hold on here. And let's go here, because in the West, we are seeing more signs of big trouble. The SLV, right, the ETF in the U.S., run by BlackRock, I believe it is, that supposedly is backed by real physical silver. This was on Friday. Again, 0 shares available to borrow. Very unusual. With the cost to borrow spiking, I'll highlight that in blue, to almost 20%, 19.0%, 19.06%. Woof. That's extreme pressure building under the surface. Shorts are getting absolutely cornered. There's big stress in the precious metals markets in the East, guys, but also here in the West. Now, this is very interesting. I'm going to go out on a limb here, okay? This was, as of about 20 minutes ago, the Royal Mint in the UK, the big UK Royal Mint, correct? Yes, okay. Explore Exceptional. All right, let's see what's going on with them right now. I'm clicking on their website. Oh, interesting. Your queue number is no longer valid. Queue numbers are valid for 10 minutes. Unfortunately, your queue number has now expired. Their website is not letting, let's refresh it. Well, why is that not working? Hold on. Yeah, okay. But basically, oh, here we go. Get a new place in the queue. Let's try that. Oh, hey, Lloyd, thank you for that super chat, my friend. $5. All right. I'll let Susie buy a Coke next time we go out to Diet Coke next time we go out to dinner. Look, thank you for visiting our site, the Royal Mint website. We're experiencing extreme high volumes of traffic. You are currently in a queue. excuse me, we would like to thank you for your patience and understanding at this time. Guys, really, seriously, I've been playing around on the internet for 20 years. I've been playing around with precious metals for 20 years. I don't ever remember trying to go into any precious metals oriented website where they put me in a queue because it's experiencing too high of traffic. We are living in historic times for precious metals. It's really, really, really getting to be out of control. Let's go now. So many things going on. A big day. And I apologize. You guys have been sending me angry emails that I'm not showing the U.S. debt clock as often as I used to. We're going to go out and check on the U.S. debt clock because we are approaching 38 trillion. Are we there yet? Is tonight the night that we get to 38 trillion? And no, but we are now at 37 trillion. $912 billion of U.S. debt. Okay. Hey, the interest on our debt went down a little bit. We're below $1 trillion, but we're almost at $1 trillion in debt. And the federal budget deficit sits at $1.7 trillion. As I have shown you ad nauseum over the years, that creates a debt spiral because as the debt goes up, as I move down here, you can maybe see my cursor, the interest expense kind of in the middle left goes up. That makes the budget deficit go up, which makes the debt go up, which then repeats over and over and over. But what we want to look at here, it's working. Over on the right side, I'm circling it for you. Another number we keep a real close eye on, the dollar to silver ratio right now sitting at over $1,220. Right? That means that for each 1 ounce of silver that's dug up out of the ground, real silver, real metal, right now, there are $1,200 US being printed via the M2 money supply. I don't know. I don't think you have to be Albert Eisenhower. Oh, no. Did I forget to share the U.S. debt clock? Oh, guys, I did. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, basement dwellers. Please forgive me. There it is. Hold on. Now it's up. We'll go through. I think you did. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. That's okay. My lovely assistant upstairs, Susie, forgot to tell me that I forgot to share the debt clock. You were looking at that. You were waiting in line to get into the Royal Mint. Okay, real quickly. Down here, there's the dollar to silver ratio. I really apologize, guys. I'm a one-man band, and Susie's dealing. We have children, everything else going on here. There's the 1,200, okay? Up here, upper left corner, I'm circling the national debt, okay? There's the interest expense, almost $1 trillion. And right here, right below to the right of the national debt is the deficit. The debt, you can't see that too well. Anyway, makes more interest expense makes more deficit makes more national debt. And that just repeats that, my friends, is what we call a debt spiral. Okay. Now, unbelievable. We've been talking a lot about silver, and we're gonna talk more about silver, no doubt. But people are talking about gold. Gold and silver yesterday had a down day. We're not used to that, are we? Right. But I've got some data that's going to knock your socks off because gold is the granddaddy of precious metals. And the price of gold on a historic basis, people are saying, oh, it's overbought. Oh, it's this. And then we're going to look at some crazy precious metals mania pictures that are going on as well. But the price of gold is from a historic basis. We can go multiples higher. Before we do that, I do want to say thank you to channel sponsor right there, First Mint. They're an awesome silver mint in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States of America. What's interesting about them, they're owned by First Majestic Silver. So First Majestic, Keith Neumeyer's big silver mining company, mines the silver in Mexico, ships it to their mint, First Mint in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's transformed into these unbelievable, unique, world-class silver bullion products like that one. Right, Susie's favorite, the 5 ounce First Mint. You can see the logo on there, silver bar. It goes from the mine to the mint to you directly. Think about it. It's the freshest silver around, just dug up out of the ground. But also, It never gets touched by the COMEX or the LBMA. They got wonderful selection of products. Now I'm going to show you the U.S. debt clock, but next I'm going to show you their website. This is their Las Vegas round. Beautiful. Okay. Year of the Snake. Beautiful. Year of the Dragon round. Beautiful. And also their Buffalo round with the Chief. Hail to the Chief Buffalo round. I love that Indian. If you go to their store section, okay, you can check it all out. They have bars, rounds, accessories. They also have this. I'm going to talk about this for just 1 second, and I'll show you the 10-ounce Folds of Honor bar. They have a special section, the Folds of Honor, and that benefits children and spouses of fallen and disabled members of the first responder and military communities. And they give these children and spouses academic scholarships. There's 3 products in that line. If you scroll, there's a great little video, but then you can scroll down, okay? And there's 3 products. I'm going to show you that 10-ounce Folds of Honor American flag here in a second. But guys, look, they have made life-changing impact. Over $375,000 in donations raised by First Mint, which has funded over 75 scholarships. Let me show you, because I was able to get my hands on one of those 10-ounce Folds of Honor bars. This thing is so cool, right? It's the American flag folded up. It's a 10-ounce bar. It has the First Mint logo on the back of it. This is heavy. I'm sorry, I can't hold it up much longer, right? You know, anyone out there who owns physical silver knows just how heavy it is. But is gold due? Gold, right? Gold leads the way. So even if you're just a silver guy, I don't own a lot of physical gold, okay? I own some gold mining stocks. We'll talk about that later. But gold leads the way. Itavi Costa, one of the sharpest minds in the precious metal sector, brings this up. And I'm going to show you guys why we can remain to be very, very optimistic about what is happening right now overall in the precious metals markets. We're going to skip down to this part right here. It says, when priced in gold, and then I have a graph to show you, the S&P 500 is only now retesting levels last seen at the 1929 market peak. Let me show you what he means and why this is good news for all of us. Let me get my markers out in precious metals. If you go back to 1929, this is the S&P 500, okay, which is about, what, 6,600 right now? 6,600 right now in gold terms, right? And gold's what, 4,200, 4,300. So right now, this is where we are. Basically, it takes 1.5 ounces, 1.57 ounces of, hold on, I don't like the way that looks. There we go. I'll just circle it. 1.57 ounces. I don't like that either. Boy, oh boy. Technical problems today. There we go. That's going to look better. It takes 1.57 ounces of gold to buy 1 unit of the S&P 500, 6,600, okay? Now, you can see the last time we were there is 1929. When that number goes down, that means the price of gold is going up. We are just now at the peak of where it hit, right when during the 1929 market bubble. Okay, it's gotten a little higher, right? Back in the tech bubble period here, it got a little higher. There was a point in time where it took 6 ounces of gold. Right now, we're at 1.5. But as you can see, let's say we get down to this level right here, 0.5. That would be, let's see, if we only needed 0.5 of an ounce of gold, that would make let me do the math here. If we needed 0.5, a half an ounce of gold, wow. That would mean that the price of gold right now would be $13,200. So again, right now it takes over 1.5 ounces of gold to get 1 unit of the S&P 500. If we got this just down to 0.5 and the S&P stayed exactly where it is, which is what I think is going to happen. I'll tell you a reason why here in a second, right? And we got down to 0.5, that would mean, yes, that we would have the gold price at $13,200. And here's why I believe we are in for that right now. The reality is, let me come back and look at you in the eyes. The reality is we are in a dollar bubble right now, a debt bubble. We looked at the US debt clock. So when the poop hits the fan, sorry for my crudeness, but when things get really hairy, okay, they aren't going to what they're going to do is devalue the dollar and devalue it hugely. They aren't going to let it's the only way the system survives, okay? So the S&P 500, even though we have massive issues going on and will likely stay right where it is. It may even go up, but it's a dollar bubble. So the value of the dollar will go down. We already know, guys, this thing has gone down in value so much, right? Just over the last, 10 years, 20 years, really since 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard. So to think that we could see a $6,600 S&P 500 and people say, well, the stock market's stayed the same, even though everything's bad, but your dollars only buy half as much. That would mean the price of gold could double. And that could easily happen. That is not out of the realm of possibilities, right? I'm not talking about zombies walking around on the streets, apocalypse. That could happen too. Let's all hope that it doesn't. Okay. But they're going to keep the system going with everything they can, and that will mean money printing. That will mean devaluing the U.S. dollar. Trump, not a political statement at all, but Trump wants a lower dollar because that's the only way the debt could ever get paid off. Okay, I went off on a tangent. I apologize. Gold and silver, mania, mania, mania. We talk about this during every live stream. I know it's one of your favorite parts. You got an uncle, right? You have an uncle, an aunt, you got a mommy and a daddy, and you have friends and neighbors. Amongst those people, most of them don't give two hoots about gold and silver, right? That's okay. That makes you and I part of a very elite group. We're like the Navy SEALs, okay? The elite military group of the investing world. We are like the creme de la creme. They are starting to wake up. They're really starting to wake up all around the world. And I'm going to show you some crazy, crazy evidence of that next. But on top of that, even in the United States, they're starting to wake up. We, in a very heartwarming way, a very kind way, like to refer to those people as the sheeple. Right? And they're welcome to join us. But when they come, it's going to be absolutely crazy. And it's happening throughout the world. This stuff is just, to me, just absolutely shocking. All right, let's start here. Here's a guy. This is interesting. Here's a guy who's in Australia, I believe it is. And yep, we got him up. He's more of a crypto guy, and I don't really agree with him because some of the crypto people are saying, "Oh, gold's in a bubble, and when the gold bubble pops, everybody's going to run to Bitcoin." Look, I like crypto. I think crypto's cool, and I don't agree with that. And I don't think it's the majority of people in crypto, but nonetheless, let's listen to what he has to say as he walks around the streets of Sydney. These are people lined up. Look at the line. Look at this line. They call it the queue. The queue to buy gold. Wow. Look at that, guys. Yeah. The guy. Yeah. Look at that line, people. You don't hear him? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm having that issue. Hold on. Let me come back to you guys. All right. I'm going to, well, anyway, you saw that. He was basically saying those are the line. That's a massive line of people lined up. I believe that was Australia to get their hands on some gold. Let me fix something here. Everybody stick with me. I got to do something technically. You can watch me struggle. Hopefully you can see me and hear me. And I need to say thank you to the super chat as well. But give me 1 second. Don't go anywhere. Okay. And I'm going to try to reshare everything. Here we go. We'll go back here. Share. All right. Hold on. We're back at First Mint. We're back with me. And we're back at First Mint. Okay. All right. Hold on here. Okay. Boom. There's that one. Now, hopefully you can see that, which you can. Now we will go to the next one. Sorry. This is in Vietnam. Share this tab instead. Hold on here. Sorry, guys. Sometimes the wheels fall off the bus. And darn it. All right. Okay. Check this out. This is Metals Mania. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. I know. Now we'll go to this next one. This is China from David Lee, the Shenzhen Shubai gold market. This was earlier today, 3:18 p.m. China time. So not too long ago. This place is packed with people. Look at what's going on in the Chinese market. And hold on here. Hold on. All right. Okay. Now you should be seeing it. Let's start at the beginning. It's 43 seconds long. 43 seconds of Chinese precious metals. That's the Chinese. That's like heaven. That's like a whole department store focused on silver and gold. I would describe that as bustling. Not like the massive lines that we saw, but um, definitely. Oh, there's a line. Wow. What? I don't know what she just said. Okay, getting absolutely. Now there's one big secret factor that nobody's talking about. Hey guys, hopefully you can see me. We're having some technical issues. I'm having a hard time. The screen is getting crazy on my end, so hopefully you can still see me. And there's a secret factor. I saved the best for last that nobody's talking about when it comes to precious metals. That I think 4 or 5 years from now, you're going to say, hey, I remember we talked about that together in the basement after I subscribed to Ron's Basement. Before I do that, I do want to say thank you to First Mining Gold. That's a stock I've owned long before they sponsored my channel. They also help make these broadcasts possible. They're a development stage gold mining company in Canada. They have 2 huge projects, Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet located in Quebec, which I actually visited a few years back. Incredible, incredible stuff. These are big multi-million ounce, 2 of them, gold projects, gold in the ground. They're in the development stage. So they're working through the development of these mines. They're working through the permitting process, that type of thing. But hundreds of millions of dollars was spent drilling and determining that this gold is in the ground. So they have 2 multi-million ounce gold deposits in Canada. It's like buried. It's like having buried gold in the ground when you own that stock. You can learn more about them at firstmininggold.com. I'm not a financial advisor. Any investments, whether we're talking physical silver, gold, precious metal mining stocks, real estate stocks, bonds, mutual funds, what else? Cryptocurrencies. Yeah, I'm having screen difficulties, but I will try here at the end. That's something technically we're having some issues. Anyway, just remember, I'm not a stockbroker. Always be responsible. I will give that financial advice. Never invest in anything and put you or your family at any real serious risk. Okay. The secret factor. Okay. Whether or not you like crypto, there's one big secret factor that could make a massive difference. Another source of major demand for the metals, and that's what are called stable coins. A stable coin is a cryptocurrency where one token is represented by one physical ounce of metal. We'll use the example of silver or gold. The gold stable coins are really taking off. I'm going to show you an example, a chart here in a second. But there's one called XAUT. It's run by the company called Tether that has the USDT US dollar stablecoin. Massive, massive company. And they're accumulating millions of ounces of gold to back their stable coins. Okay. Every one of their coins, stable coins, crypto that's out there is backed by physical metal in a vault in Switzerland. Okay. I'm not doing a sales pitch for them or anything like that, but it's real. You can check it out, and it's creating real demand. And I believe, right, if cryptocurrency continues to be adopted like it is, these stable coins, because people in the crypto world actually generally do love precious metals. They're very interested in silver and gold. It's like we're like siblings of the same family. But take a look at this chart, and that's why I want you to realize that the demand for stable coins could create massive, massive demand for the physical metals as well. This is Nomad, who was commenting on this post, one of the videos we watched of all the people lining up. He said they could buy gold on Ethereum without needing to queue at all. There's $2.4 billion worth of tokenized gold on Ethereum. And this chart just looks at two of them. One of them is XAUT from Tether that I talked about earlier. And then the darker yellow one is PAXG, which is also a gold-backed stable coin. And right now, right at this point, there's two. I think this will continue to go up, and we're going to see the same thing with silver. It doesn't matter. I understand everybody's entitled to their own opinions, whether you like crypto, hate crypto, whatever. But the tokenized version, and there are some benefits, right? If you listen to what they say, if you check out XAUT's website, they list the benefits like, you can basically have your gold and use your gold, trade it 24 hours. It's much lower spreads between buying physical and selling at a coin shop. I know there's drawbacks too, right? Like if you don't hold it, you don't own it, which I totally respect as well. The point I'm making, though, is that as the general population, and even as crypto people become more interested in silver and gold, that's going to raise demand for the physical metal because of these tokenized gold and silver stable coins. Thanks for being here, guys. Let me see if I can pull up. I don't know if I can't. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me check with Susie. Hold on one second. Something's going on, crazy technical. Hey, Susie, who was the person who gave the super chat? I can't see comments right now.
His name was Lloyd.
Lloyd, thank you for the super chat. Okay, did we get 200 thumbs up? I didn't hear you over. That's Susie. Everybody say hi.
It's 300 likes.
300 likes. You guys are knocking it out of the park. And don't forget, subscribe. We can get to 62,000. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me ring the golden gong for continued good fortune in the precious metals. We are in for a wild ride. I'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. I got a lot of interesting things to talk about. Let's just say one of the world's biggest investment banks is saying some crazy, crazy things about the price of gold. And the price of gold, right? That is the leader. Gold's the granddaddy. But don't forget also, $1,600 silver. I've said it down here, and I'll continue to say it. I think in my lifetime, I could see a $1,600 per ounce silver price easy. Don't make any crazy bets based upon that. But guys, when I look at the big picture, when we look at everything going on right now and how different things really are right now from 1980, think about this, that 1980 $1,600 silver price, okay, based on the real Shadow Stats number, according to Grok, I researched it before I came on. Okay, 1980, the world was a much different place. We didn't have $38 trillion in national debt. We didn't have China and India becoming really, to a larger degree, super economic powers, but just superpowers altogether. We had a completely different environment in 1980. Heck, I should have said $3,200 silver. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me down here in the basement. I really appreciate it. Wonderful group of people in this community. You take care of yourself, okay? And I will see you soon.